What if I tell you that the Gotham City powerlifting champion, a man who could deadlift over 1,000 pounds, was found this morning in his private, state-of-the-art gym? He was sitting on a bench, unharmed, weeping like a child. Around him, every single piece of equipment, every barbell, every dumbbell, every plate, every machine had been bent, twisted, and shattered into scrap metal. The police said there were no signs of tools. The destruction appeared to have been done by hand. You are listening to Gotham City Radio, the voice of Gotham since 1945. This is the 7th episode of our special series, broadcasting live from the library of Wayne Manor with your host, Aubrey James. The time, as always, is midnight.
Thank you, Eleanor, and welcome back. There is a new cold in the air tonight, the 1st of October. It is the first night of the season that truly feels like autumn, not the gentle, transitional crispness of a few days ago, but a deeper, more brittle cold that has settled into the bones of the city. It is a night that reminds you that things can break. The last of the summer flowers have shattered in the wind. The tree branches, stripped of their leaves, look like exposed fractures against the hard, clear sky. It is a night that makes you think of breaking points. We all have them. The city has them. We build our lives, our bodies, our careers, our very identities on the assumption of their own integrity. We believe we are strong. But what is strength? Is it the power to shatter the world around you? Or is it the quiet, stubborn refusal to be shattered yourself? Tonight, we tell a story about a man who was born in a place where the world was already broken. A man who mastered his own pain and remade himself into a force of absolute, terrible strength. A man who came to Gotham not to rob it or to drive it mad, but simply and with terrifying clarity to break its spirit. Tonight, we tell the story of Bane. The wind is cold, but the lines are open. And here comes our first caller. You're on the air with Night Shift Radio.
Aubrey? Hi. Elena. I'm a third-year resident at Gotham General. I'm calling from the on-call room. I've been on my feet for 30 hours straight. I think I'm starting to see things.
Elena, it sounds like you're at the very edge of your endurance. Thank you for the work you do. What's on your mind?
It's this culture, this mindset. In medicine, and I guess in a lot of professions, there's this idea that to be strong, to be the best, you have to be able to endure anything. You have to sacrifice everything. Sleep is for the weak. A personal life is a distraction. You're supposed to just absorb the trauma, the exhaustion, the stress. And if you complain, if you crack, you're not cut out for it. I feel like I am physically and mentally breaking myself against this job. And I'm supposed to believe that this is what's making me stronger? Is that what strength is, Aubrey? Just the ability to suffer more than the next person?
Elena, you have just perfectly articulated a philosophy of strength that is as seductive as it is destructive. It is the very philosophy that created the man we are speaking of tonight. Bane was not born in Gotham. He was born in the darkest hole on the face of the earth, the island prison of Peñadoro, a place that was literally a pit. He was born into a life sentence to serve the term of his revolutionary father. He knew nothing but darkness, violence, and pain from the moment he took his first breath. And in that crucible, he forged a belief system. He came to see pain not as an enemy, but as a teacher. He saw suffering not as a burden, but as a tool to temper the will. He devoured books in the darkness. He trained his body to be a weapon, and he learned to meditate on his own agony until it no longer had any power over him. He believed that the only way to become unbreakable was to endure a lifetime of being broken. He saw strength not as a state of being, but as the product of relentless, unforgiving pressure. And to a certain extent, he was right. He emerged from that prison as a man of unparalleled physical and mental discipline, a genius with the body of a monster. But the strength he forged was a brutal, misshapen thing. It had no room for compassion, no room for healing, no room for joy. It was the strength of a battering ram, designed for one thing and one thing only: to break whatever stood in its way.
So what's the alternative? If I stop pushing, I'll fail. I'll be replaced by someone willing to push harder.
The alternative is wisdom, Elena. Bane's philosophy has no room for wisdom. It has no room for recovery. A muscle does not get stronger while you are lifting the weight. It gets stronger while it is resting afterwards. The stress is the catalyst, but the healing is the growth. You are treating your life and your spirit like a weight that must be held up indefinitely. But you are not a stone pillar. You are a living thing. True strength, the kind that endures, is not just about the capacity to withstand pressure. It is about the wisdom to know when to step away from it, to rest, to heal, to allow yourself to be human. An unbreakable machine that can run for 30 hours is impressive. But a doctor who can practice with compassion and clarity for 30 years is a miracle. And that requires rest. Do not mistake endurance for strength, Elena. The strongest trees are not the ones that stand rigid in the wind. They are the ones that know how to bend. The ones that know how to bend. I haven't bent in a long time. I think I might need to. Thank you, Doctor. Aubrey. Get some rest, Doctor. Now, when Bane emerged from Peñaduro, he was a legend. A myth. The man who had conquered the pit. But he was driven by a singular, obsessive vision he'd had in the darkness. A vision of a giant, terrifying bat. A symbol of the fear he had had to overcome as a child. He came to believe that Gotham City was a larger version of his island prison, a place ruled by fear, and that its king, this Batman, was the ultimate embodiment of that fear. And Bane decided that he would come to Gotham, and he would do to the city what he had done to himself. He would break it. He saw it not as an act of villainy, but as an act of liberation. He would be the city's ultimate, final test. And the night poses its own tests. Let's take another call. You are on the air with Night Shift Radio.
Aubrey? It's Tom. My son, he's 10. He's a good kid. Gentle, loves to read, and he's getting bullied at school. This bigger kid keeps pushing him around, taking his lunch money. The usual ugly stuff. And my first instinct, the gut reaction from the guy I was raised to be, is to tell him to hit back, to stand up for himself, to show this bully that he's not weak. But I look at my son's face and he's not a fighter. It would just get him hurt worse, and it feels wrong. But I don't want him to be weak. I'm afraid I'm teaching him the wrong lesson about what it means to be a man, what it means to be strong.
Tom, that is a question that has haunted fathers for generations, and it is a question that lies at the very heart of the conflict between Bane and Batman. If your son were Bane's son, the path would be clear. Bane's philosophy is one of absolute dominance. Strength is the ability to impose your will on others. The solution to a bully is to become a bigger, more terrifying bully, to break them, physically and mentally, so they never dare to challenge you again. It is a philosophy of power. It is simple, it is direct, and it is brutally effective. When Bane came to Gotham, this is precisely what he did. He saw Batman as the city's dominant force, its alpha, and he decided to break him, to prove that he was the stronger of the two. But Batman's philosophy of strength is something else entirely. It is far more complicated and far more difficult to teach. His strength is not just in his ability to fight. It is in his discipline. It is in his code. His greatest strength is not the power to defeat his enemies, but the power to not become them. He has the physical ability to kill any criminal he faces, but his true strength is in his refusal to do so. He fights to protect, not to dominate. He uses force as a last resort, and only to the degree necessary to stop the threat.
So what does that mean for my son? He should just take it?
Number. It means you can teach him a different kind of strength. The strength of strategy over brutality. The strength of alliances over isolation. You and your son can talk to his teacher. You can talk to the principal. You can form a network of support. You can teach him that true strength is not being afraid to ask for help. And you can teach him the most difficult and powerful lesson of all: compassion. The boy who is bullying your son is not strong. He is weak. He is acting out of his own fear, his own pain. Teaching your son to see that, to understand that the bully is a wounded animal, not a monster. That is a strength the bully can never comprehend. It is easy to teach a child to make a fist, Tom. It is much harder and much more important to teach him when not to.
The strength to not become the bully. I think that's the lesson I needed, not him. Thank you, Aubrey.
You're a good father, Tom. Bane's plan to break Batman was a masterwork of strategy. He did not simply walk up to him and challenge him to a fight. He was more intelligent than that. He first laid siege to his mind. He acquired a rocket launcher, and in one explosive act blew open the walls of Arkham Asylum, releasing Batman's entire rogues gallery into the city at once. The Joker, the Scarecrow, the Riddler, all of them. It was a declaration of war. But it was not chaos for the sake of chaos, like the Joker would have done. It was a calculated, strategic move. Bane knew that Batman would feel compelled to hunt down every single escapee himself. He was forcing him to run a gauntlet. And for weeks, that is exactly what Batman did. He pushed his body and mind to his absolute limits, sleepless, wounded, on nothing but sheer, obsessive willpower. He was capturing his greatest enemies, one by one, but he was getting slower, more exhausted, more reckless, and Bane just watched and waited. He was letting Batman's own discipline, his own sense of responsibility, break him from the inside out. The night is long, and our own limits are being tested. You're on the air.
Hello, Mr. James. My name is Maria. I'm a caregiver. I look after my husband. He has a degenerative neurological condition. He's been bedridden for 3 years. I do everything. The feeding, the cleaning, the medications. The nights are the hardest. And I'm so tired, Mr. James. I feel like there's nothing left of me. My friends, they tell me I'm so strong, but I don't feel strong. I feel broken. I feel weak, and I feel so guilty for feeling weak, like I'm failing him.
Maria, the strength you show every single day is a strength that most people, myself included, can barely comprehend. The quiet, constant, thankless strength of a caregiver is, in my opinion, the most profound kind of strength there is. But you are right. Everyone has a breaking point, and you feel you have reached yours. This brings us to the moment in our story when Batman reached his. After weeks of his grueling gauntlet, after he had finally captured the last of the Arkham escapees, he returned, battered and bruised, to the one place he felt safe, to the Batcave, and to his home, Wayne Manor. And there, waiting for him in the darkness, was Bane. Fresh, powerful. He had been watching Batman destroy himself, and he had chosen the perfect moment to strike. The fight was not a fight. It was an execution. Batman was too tired to think, too wounded to properly defend himself. Bane dismantled him, piece by piece. And it all culminated in one of the most infamous moments in our city's dark history. Bane lifted the broken body of the Batman over his head, and with a terrible, final exertion of force, he brought him down over his knee. The sound of his spine shattering echoed in the cave. In that moment, the Batman was broken, physically and spiritually. The symbol of Gotham's resilience was a crippled, defeated man. He had failed. He was weak.
My God, that's horrible.
It is. But that is not the end of the story, Maria. And it is not the end of yours. Because it is in that moment of absolute brokenness that a new kind of strength can be found. The strength to accept that you are not invincible. The strength to admit that you need help. The strength to surrender to your own limits. Batman could not heal himself. He was taken away, cared for by others. He was forced to accept his own vulnerability. And in that acceptance, the long, slow process of healing began. You do not feel strong right now because you are broken, and that is okay. It is not a failure. It is a testament to the incredible load you have been carrying for so long. The strongest thing you can do right now, Maria, is to acknowledge the break, to reach out, to tell your friends, your family, that you are not a superhero. You are a human being, and you need help. Admitting you are broken is the first essential step to becoming whole again.
I haven't told anyone how bad it is. I've been trying to be strong. Maybe being strong is telling them the truth. Thank you. I'm going to make a call.
You are stronger than you know, Maria. The dawn is still far away. You are on the air with Night Shift Radio.
Aubrey, it's Michael. I used to be a quarterback, a local hero for a little while. Got a scholarship to Gotham University. First season I tore my ACL, a bad one. The surgery, it didn't take right. My career was over before it began. That was 10 years ago. I'm fine now. I have a good job, a family. I can walk, I can run with my kids, but I'm afraid. I haven't thrown a football in a decade. I'm terrified of that feeling, of planting my foot and feeling it give way again. I feel like that injury broke my confidence, broke my nerve, and it never healed right.
Michael, you are talking about the ghost of the break, the memory of the pain, which is often more powerful than the pain itself. After Bane broke Batman's back, he did not kill him. He did something far crueler. He took his broken body to the one place he had escaped from, the prison of Peñaduro. He threw him in the pit, and from his prison, Bruce Wayne was forced to watch, helpless, as Bane took over Gotham City, ruling it with an iron fist. He had to live with his failure, with his fear, with the memory of the break. And for months, he was broken. But then, slowly, painstakingly, he began to heal. He retrained his body. But more importantly, he retrained his mind. He had to accept his failure. He had to accept his fear. He realized that the first time he fought Bane, he had relied on his strength, his endurance, but he had lost his discipline. He had underestimated his opponent. He had, in his own way, been arrogant. The injury, the break, it became his greatest teacher. It humbled him. It forced him to find a new, smarter, more focused way to be strong. When he finally healed and escaped that prison, when he returned to Gotham to face Bane again, he was a different man. He was not the same quarterback you were, Michael. He was someone new. He was stronger, not just because his body had healed, but because his spirit had been tempered by failure.
So what am I supposed to do? Just pick up a ball and pretend it never happened?
Number. You pick up the ball and you respect the memory of what happened. The fear you feel is not a weakness. It is wisdom. It is your body and your mind reminding you of your limits, of your vulnerability. The old you, the young quarterback, he probably felt invincible. The new you knows better, and that makes you a smarter player. The fear doesn't have to be a chain that holds you back. It can be a guide that makes you more careful, more precise, more aware. Your comeback isn't about becoming the person you were before the injury. It's about becoming the person you are now because of it. Stronger, wiser, and humbled.
Because of it. Not in spite of it. I've been trying to forget. Maybe I need to remember. Thank you, Aubrey. I think I know what I need to do.
I have a feeling you do, Michael. Batman's final confrontation with Bane was not a simple rematch. It was a chess match. Batman was smarter this time. He didn't try to match Bane's brute strength. He used his environment. He used his intellect. He analyzed Bane's greatest strength, the venom supersteroid that fed into his body through a series of tubes, and he turned it into a weakness. With a series of precise, targeted strikes, he severed the tubes, cutting Bane off from his artificial power. And in the end, without his drug, Bane was just a man. A strong man, but a mortal one. Batman had not just broken his body, he had broken the system that his strength was built upon. He had proven that true strength was not about artificial power, but about the resilience of the human mind and spirit. One last voice before the brittle night is over. You're on the air.
Mr. James, I apologize for the noise. My daughter was just born 2 hours ago. I'm sitting in a hospital chair, looking at her, and she is so small, so fragile. I look at her little hands, her little feet, and I am filled with a love that is so big, it feels like it could break my ribs. And I am also filled with a terror that is colder than any winter night. This world, this city, it is a hard, cruel place. It breaks things. How am I supposed to protect her? How am I supposed to make her strong enough to survive it?
First, my deepest congratulations to you. Welcome to the most terrifying and beautiful job in the world. You are asking the question that lies beneath all of our other questions tonight. In a world designed to break us, how do we build something that can endure? You are looking at your daughter, and you are seeing her fragility, but you are missing the truth. You are holding in your arms the strongest thing in the universe, a human life, the capacity to heal, to learn, to love, to adapt, to endure. It is all there in that tiny, fragile body. Bane believed strength was a wall you build around yourself. Batman learned that strength is the ability to rebuild after the wall has been shattered. Your job is not to build a fortress around your daughter so that she never feels pain. That is impossible. Your job is to give her the tools, the love, and the confidence to know that when she falls, when she is broken, she has the strength within her to heal and to rise again. You do not have to make her strong. She already is. You just have to help her see it.
She already is. I just have to help her see it. Thank you. Thank you for that.
It is my privilege. The story of Bane is a story about the nature of strength. It is a cautionary tale about the pursuit of power for its own sake. His strength was born in pain, and its only purpose was to create more pain. Batman's strength, forged in his own childhood tragedy, is used for the opposite purpose, to protect others from the very pain that created him. That is the fundamental difference between a monster and a hero. Not the absence of scars, but what we choose to do with them. The first light of morning is touching the sky. A cold, clear October dawn. The city survived another night. It did not break. We are all of us, in some way, recovering from a break, or fearing the one that is yet to come. But true strength is not the absence of fear or pain. It is the quiet courage to face a new day in a city that is always trying to break you, and to do so with an open and compassionate heart. It is the strength to rise. I'm Aubrey James. Thank you for enduring the night with me. Be good to each other and be strong in all the small, quiet ways that truly matter.